Welcome to Unstuck with Hydro Air Wellness Lab, the podcast where real people share their real stories around getting their lives, their bodies, and their mindsets back on track. I'm your host, Bretton Hunt, and in every episode, we dive into powerful conversations with athletes, weekend warriors, health and wellness professionals, and everyday people who refuse to settle. These are the breakthroughs, the setbacks, the mindset shifts, the moments that get us unstuck. So today, I am really excited for this episode. I've been looking forward to this one, guys. So I'm joined today by Lindsey Burwell. She's the founder of the Patch Method, a company that is rethinking how to deliver nutrients to the body through transdermal patches. She's got a background in holistic health, clinical lab work, and metabolism, and she's built a brand that's really sitting at the intersection of convenience, performance, and biohacking. So I'm really excited to talk to her about what she's built, how she built it, and what the product is and how you can get it. So Lindsey, welcome to the show. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm feeling incredible. We just had a little biohacking moment with some red light and cryo. And so, yeah, not only I've been excited about this conversation too, but
Awesome. Love to hear it. So real quick before we dive in, what was your favorite part of the whole relax and restore thing that we just did over at the lab?
okay. So I had never done that treadmill before. I never even actually heard of that. And I actually recently have had a few friends who had some injuries. And so just being able to experience, you know, the buoyancy and being able to still like move your body as if you're running on a treadmill was so cool. But my favorite, I would say, was the red light bed. I'm a big red light therapy fan. And I've done all different kinds, the panels, the lay down beds. I have one in my home, but that one was so different. It got so close to the body, number one. So we know how effective that is. But I paired it with a little meditation and I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, that was my favorite. The cryo was fun, but the red light was powerful.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Yeah, I love hearing people talk about the red light bed because like we were talking about over there, there's tons of red light therapy beds out on the market, lots of different ways you can do it. But, as you were saying, the closer the red light is to your skin, the actual benefits are much better. So
Yeah.
versus just sitting in either like a red light sauna or having a panel on a wall or something, just being totally immersed in it, that's when you're really experiencing and feeling those
I
benefits.
know. And I feel like not a lot of people are talking about that. And I mentioned I have a sauna at my home. And I used to think, oh, I'm getting a sauna with some red light, but the red light was 4 feet from my body. And then when I learned that it has to be, just a few inches away at minimum, I was like, oh, it's not even working. So that one was probably the best one I'd ever done.
That's great. I'd love to hear that. So, anyone listening, if you want to come do what Lindsey just did, mention her. We'll give you a great deal. Come and do it. Try it out for yourself. So, but thank you, Lindsey. So, let's talk about you now and what you're doing. So, first, just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are and how the patch method was born. Like, how did this all come to fruition?
Oh my gosh. I always say pain is our greatest teacher. And not only am I obsessed with the work that I do, but I'm really truly a patient and a student in the work that I do. When I was an adolescent, I dealt with a lot of health issues. It was related, it stemmed from gut issues. I remember feeling very bloated all the time, very inflamed. And my poor mom would take me to the doctor and they just never knew really what to do with me. They said, oh, your labs are fine. You look fine. Go to CVS, get some magnesium citrate, get some over the counter, whatever it was. And I just remember feeling like, okay, I know I'm not broken, but something is off. And it stemmed into having just a lot of issues within hormones, anxiety. So much of that's connected into the gut.
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I found really functional medicine and started learning how to heal the body at the cellular level and just learning that our bodies are designed to heal and they are ready to be in vitality. Sometimes we just have to remove the interferences and bring in these amazing tools like you have in your facility to get back into alignment where our bodies can experience that true sense of, like I said, vitality without leaning on pharmaceuticals, right? And so during that journey and seeing how it not just shifted the way I felt, but the way that I was able to show up for my life gave me just complete vision of like, this is the work I'm meant to do. I was meant to go through, these series of trials so that I can help other people overcome them, learn about their body, really become empowered with their body's ability to heal and experience what then shifts after that. And like I said, it felt good to feel good. But the way that I was able to start showing up for my life because I felt good is just truly the cherry on top of the cake. Like I'm able to love more, hold more capacity. I'm able to fulfill my life's purpose because I'm in that alignment. And so I'm so passionate in helping people get to that point. And so when I was kind of getting started and helping people on their journey, I started doing root cause labs. So I would look at specifically data to show what were the drivers of inflammation, right? So we would look at blood work, sure, but I love looking via the hair follicle or saliva to get a little bit more granular as far as like what nutrient deficiencies are we looking at that are driving these symptoms that you're experiencing, whether it be migraines or metabolic dysfunction, weight gain, fatigue, hormonal imbalance, right? And I would get actual data to then support these clients to see like make these changes, and it can really help your body. And what happened was in the last few years, I started noticing women coming to me and we would do their labs and I was like, hey, you're deficient on this, deficient on this. This is making sense now, what we need to do. And you'd have like, vitamin deficiency, mineral deficiency, antioxidant deficiencies. And then the women would look at me and they'd be like, well, I'm taking this vitamin, I'm taking these antioxidants, I'm literally taking these omegas, right? And I was like, you're right. So what is happening, right? And because again, I'm always looking for solutions to problems and noticing patterns. I was like, there's got to be an absorption issue happening. And it was a shift. It was a major shift I noticed. So I started researching like, how does a body break down a supplement? And it is called the first pass metabolism. It's actually a science. So when you take a supplement, first your liver has to break it down and then your gut has to absorb it. And if you have any interferences in those pathways from heavy metals, toxins, parasites, EMS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, right? Like all the things that we're inundated with in our very modern day world, it's going to break it down. Then if you have microbial imbalance, if you have bloating, if you have, not a good strong microbiome, then you don't have that, environment to really absorb the vitamin the way that it was intended to be. So we're looking at maybe you're on more than 10% at the end of the day. And so because of that, we used to start learning how to weigh. And then I learned about transdermal delivery. So transdermal delivery is getting things through the skin that go right into the bloodstream. It bypasses the gut and the liver. And although I didn't invent this technology, it's actually been around forever. Think like nicotine patches, think birth control patches, think like magnesium gel for athletes, right?
Okay.
How strong that is. Or even when you take like a magnesium bath, how incredibly just relaxed your body feels versus just throwing down a bunch of magnesium supplement. Notice it so fast as well. And so transdermal delivery is so powerful. And then when I went to kind of look at like what is there to offer and like the vitamin oil, there wasn't a lot and there wasn't what I wanted for my clients because I specialize in metabolism, detox pathways. So it just kind of got me excited and like looking for partnerships. And I ended up finding a really great formulator who specializes in transdermal delivery. And then we work with a manufacturer that is what they do. We basically pull together different protocols and ingredients to synergize that work really well together, and then that can actually penetrate deeper into the skin. And so then the patch method basically was born out of that to really offer my clients a different modality to support their body. And this was almost a year ago we launched, and it's just been totally crazy. I never like fast forward now, I would have never known it would have gotten to where we are now. We actually just got accepted one out of 100,000 brands to go into Sprouts nationwide.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's really wild. So it's been fun. We get messages of testimonials every day, like from clients, like I had the best sleep of my life, with the cortisol patch or, inflammation down. Or wow, I finally feel like I can feel my vitamins working. So it's been awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah, congratulations again. That's a big accomplishment to get into Sprouts like that.
Yeah.
Such a short amount of time of being launched. That's great.
I know. I'm like, how did that happen? I don't even know. It's total alignment. It is total alignment.
That's great. So, I mean, being a business owner, you dealt with adversity and stuff. Were you met with a lot of adversity when you were first like discussing this, like with friends or family? Or it's like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Was there anyone out there was like, Lindsey, you're crazy. Like that's kind of like hold your horses a little bit.
So, there's always going to be people who are skeptical of anything and everything. And so I knew my job wasn't to like convince someone, of the science. It was more so to offer a solution and whoever felt aligned in that solution, great. And then, as far as family and friends, it's interesting actually. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you know, sometimes it's your closest friends that you think would be so excited for you that like are the least excited for you, or like the most skeptical or maybe the most resistant. And I've experienced that in multiple times in my life. Um, and so it didn't come to a surprise, but I always think it's an interesting observation. So definitely, like there's gonna, for anyone listening, sometimes when you start something new, people around you can be more skeptical. And it's not because they don't believe in you. What I've learned is that when you're evolving and you're changing, people's brain, including our own brain, don't like change. Our brain loves comfort and comfort and pleasure in the form of like consistency, right? And repetition. So whatever we do every day, that same hamster wheel habits, thoughts, beliefs, our brain loves that because it's like, I know this, I have seen it, I have tasted it, this feels like home, this feels safe. So when you go to change, evolve and expand and grow, your brain and everyone else around you can feel like it might be a threat. It feels dangerous. It feels different. And so the mechanism to like pull you back to where you were or like, you know, saying like that's a bad idea, come back, is just like a primitive response to really keep you safe. So definitely experience that on my end.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just a part of it, right? I think people are just. I mean, I don't want to say that they don't want you to succeed, but they're just more like, no, but you're fine right how you are. Just don't
Yeah.
change anything. You're thinking, well, I want to be better than I am right now, and this is a way for me to be better, and I'm better. I want that support. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So getting into sprouts, I want to get into that. That's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
didn't realize you guys got into sprouts. So what was that whole process like? How did that get brought up? Was that something where it's like, hey, I want to get into sprouts, or did sprouts approach you? How did that happen?
Okay, so yeah, I never had like this vision of going into retail.
Mhm.
My vision was very small. What it is now. I we were growing and scaling, and I kept getting messages from people like, "Where can I pick this up in person?" And so for a while, I was letting people pick it up in person, like at my house, because our fulfillment was out of Oregon, and it was like family, friends of friends, like that's kind of the extent of it. And my husband was like, "Museum, like you cannot keep giving away our home address."
Yeah.
I know. I was like, "Yeah, I know. There needs to be like a store where like there's an option to go to a store." And so I really out of whim, a very audacious whim, apply for Sprouts. Like they have applications for different categories, whether it be like women's vitamins, men's vitamins, immunity section, the foraging section. Like if you had like a drink, a brand, you would apply for like the beverage section, if you will. And so out of a whim, I had actually back up. I had talked to a new friend of mine who owned a kava company, a great company. And she just launched in
Oh,
Sprouts.
okay.
And she was like, this is what I did, apply, whatever. I'm like, apply. I have no brokers. I don't work with any brokers. Brokers are basically companies that have relationships with retailers and can get you into those meetings.
Mhm.
And so I had no brokers. I knew nobody at Sprouts. I just applied and didn't didn't really think much into it. Although I have been in a very like quantum energy field, so like there's been a lot of attraction happening in my life. And so got an email a week later, and it was a calendar invite to the Sprouts Pitch Slam at headquarters, and it was just a calendar invite.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm gonna say yes, but like happening, right?
Yeah.
And then following that email was an email from Sprouts, basically, and there was 8 brands on the email, and it was like, "Congratulations, you've been chosen to pitch your brand to Sprouts at headquarters. Here's the dates, and this is what we need from you." It was all this documentation that I'd never seen before. It was a lot, and at the time, I just onboarded a fractional COO, so I realized we were scaling and we needed operational support. And I had met an incredible person who has exited a couple product-based businesses, and this is like her bread and butter. And so brought her on board at the same time this was all happening. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are these people? What I don't even know this language, CPG. I've never done this before. And she took my hand literally and like walked me through the entire process of like getting everything we needed executed to prepare for a pitch slam. And so we went and it was amazing. So that's where also I learned like, oh my gosh, they get 100,000 submissions a year. And there was 8 brands, 7 of them had brokers. I didn't have a
Wow.
broker. Like I don't even know how this it all came about. It was such an energetic thing. I feel like it was like God as the universe. And so we went, had an amazing time. Totally just like put our heart out there. And what was crazy is we didn't get answers then. So it was more like, great, thank you. And, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what the process was going to be. I was like, when do you maybe learn about like next steps? So then what happened was I had booked a trip to Expo West in California. This is where it is like the Becca of CPG, consumer product goods. And every known brand in the world of health, wellness, food, snacks, beverages go there in California. And I went to just network and learn and watch and observe and be a part of it. I heard it was something I could not miss. So I went, and crazy enough, when I got to the airport, I sat down on the plane and looked next to me, and it was the buyer of Sprouts that I had
Oh,
just
wow.
pitched. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is this like? And so I was like, hey, Mason. And he was wearing his energy patch, which I was like, yes. And then he was like, yeah, we'll be here at this event. Hopefully we'll see you. We really need you to meet so and so because like that's where like the next steps would be, right? So we got the plane, and then I went to another pitch slam just to watch as an observer, watch other brands pitch, and just kind of be a part of that experience. And Dave Sprouts was there again. I was like, oh my gosh, they're here again. I think you probably feel like I'm following them,
Yeah.
and got to see him again. And then they said, we really loved what you have, like we really want to bring you in, but we have to have you meet so and so and the VP of so and so. And, they're going to be here. I can't tell you when, but just try to stick around the booth and hopefully, the timing works out and we could meet them. And I was like, okay. I'm really trying to meet these people. So it was the next day I woke up at Expo West and I was like, you know what? There's 10 hours of this event. Who knows what time these people are going to be at their booth? They're probably going to be in and out. There's probably going to be new people. I don't want to like obsess over this. I want there to be a divine intervention if it is an alignment of the greatest good. Like if this is what is meant to be, I totally trust and believe like that the will happen. And so when I was in the taxi to Expo, I just felt the urge to pray out loud. I was with a friend and we just prayed over our day. And we got there and I felt so grounded. I felt so peaceful. I felt so grateful to be there. I didn't feel pressured. I didn't feel overwhelmed. I didn't feel like I need to find new Sprouts people. And so we walked around. I knew I needed to make my way down there and just, see what would unfold. And there was so many like derails people I ran into that Howard State. So it was like 3 hours later, and I was like, oh, I really care about this. I got to get down there. So I'm walking to the Sprouts booth, and sure enough, the 2 gentlemen that I had pitched to and that were there. And so I walked over and I'm like, hey, how's it going? How's your day? And I was like, on so and so here. I'm like, oh, you just missed them. Okay, of course. You know what? I told it. Of course I did. Like, you know, what are the odds?
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, wait, he's here. He's right here right now. And so I went up to him and I introduced myself, told him the passion of his stories, gave him examples. And he was like, this is really cool. I love this idea. Yeah, he's very innovative. And then I mentioned the immunity patch. The immunity patch was a patch that we originally weren't going to pitch because it's not very like flashy, right? We have detox, we have cortisol, we have energy, all these like more exciting ones. The immunity patch just feels very basic. But when I walked the aisles of Sprouts before prepping for the pitch, I was like, we need the immunity patch to be part of this. I had a download about it.
Mhm.
So when I shared about the immunity patch at Expo West, he was like, wait, you have an immunity patch? He was like, done. Oh my gosh, done deal. We are absolutely going to bring this in. This is incredible. And I was like, okay, he's like, here's my email, like, follow with me after this, like, we'll get things rolling. And then he's like, but I really do need you to meet the VP of like all category buyers.
Hmm.
And so I met him. He gave us like 30 minutes undivided attention in a place where there's, I think they said there was like 40,000 people at this
Wow.
expo. It was insane. A lot of Delvin brands. And I was telling him again the patch method story, and he starts putting on the patch and goes, patches like saved my life. He's like, I used to smoke and then I started nicotine patches and I didn't smoke food since. He's like, I'm a firm believer at transdermal. I think this is huge, very future forward. And he's like, we would love to bring you in. And I just was like full body chills. Like, how did I get the opportunity for this? And to meet both of them and to share this message, and for them to be like so on board. And I didn't have any other experience with it. I don't know how other brands go about this and their way of getting into Sprouts, but what I've heard is it's not like this at all.
Yeah.
And so went home and followed up, and yeah, we just got told August 18th is when they're bringing us in, and so it's just crazy.
Is that nationwide?
That's what we've been told. Yes,
Crazy.
I
Okay.
know, so crazy.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look at it when I go shopping at Sprouts in
Oh.
August.
My house.
There you go. Yeah. Do you want to give your address on real quick? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so how how has it been getting you mentioned a little bit the testimonials and all that, like you seeing like, wow, this is really making a difference in people's lives. How has that been seeing it, you know, how it has evolved into, well, I wanted to just help my clients now. I'm now seeing it affect multiple people all over the US and just seeing all these testimonials. What is that feeling like?
It's I feel so on mission is how I feel. And I think that anyone can take this for any area of their life. If you can just stay on mission for why you're here. It doesn't have to be a business and not be a product. It could be being a mom, right? But like when you stay centered on like why did God bring you here?
Mhm.
And what am I meant to do? Everything that needs to happen that surrounds that mission is going to happen. And I think for me, because I just always focused on the person, I've never gone viral like online, like I built my name, my work, just one person at a time and spending time with that one person and pouring all of my love into them. And then referral, word of mouth, it would trickle out, right?
Mhm.
And the patch method has been scaling because that's what we're doing. Like, we're not throwing millions of dollars at ads. We're not doing what most brands are doing. We're not going into debt to try to be something we're not. We're activating small pop-ups, wellness events, body studios. We are loving on our ambassadors, our affiliates. We're creating a wave of like belief in people's bodies and their ability to experience vitality one moment at a time, one day at a time. And it's just building into this like literal like a snowball effect, right? And so it's amazing. Like again, every day I just wake up and I'm just so grateful, but I just remind myself of like what is my mission and why am I here? And that's really like the blood of the brand.
I love that. I think that's amazing. That's something that me and my wife have been kind of learning more and more these last couple of years. She was diagnosed with autoimmune disease, lupus nephritis, and just went through a lot of different things. And there was a lot of just self reflecting. Okay, like, why is this happening? Why do we need to go through this? And now she's, she discovered the functional world. She discovered naturopaths, all this stuff that I had no idea about. And it's changed her life. And now watching her, she's going to school to be a CNS. And just further help people that don't know about this stuff. And, seeing her just like, well, I don't know enough yet. And then now I see her just on random phone calls, just talking to people and just giving them just like advice that has helped her and just, hey, maybe you want to look into that. Maybe you want to look into this. And it's really cool. So I really like that answer. Just like trying to stay grounded, like, hey, what am I here to do? And
Yeah,
how can I best do that?
totally. Like I can't say this enough. Our trials are our greatest teachers. And we are going through something hard and heavy, which we all are prescribed.
Mhm.
Like nobody gets out here without scratches, like we are all going to have our own version of poison and pain. And when you're in it, like to not succumb to like being a victim of it and let it be like this identity piece, but more so like this is funny.
Mhm.
And like this really freaking sucks. It's okay that it's heavy and it sucks and you don't want to be in it. I remember I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. It was a misdiagnosis, but I had to go through the most epic, worst procedure of my life. They removed the mole. I had like 8 inches of staples in my leg. I thought it was one of these stitches. It was staples. My whole quadricep was stapled shut, and then it removed the lymph node, and I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. Like I actually was like, how did I not go home with crutches? Because I couldn't walk. And for someone who's so active and like movement is therapy for me, it was soul crushing. And this happened after, oh my gosh, infertility, meningitis. I gave birth at home, bled out, was in ICU. Again, I had the health issues in my adolescence. Like I went through it. I went
Yeah.
through it. And I remember that's the last one I was sitting on my couch and going, I was so mad. I was like, why is this happening to me? And I just got the message like, this is happening for you. And like God told me, like, I have you here because you have work to do. And I saved your life so you have work to do. And once once I was able to stop resisting like those trials I was going through and just allow for the pain to like really just refine me and
Mhm.
refine my focus, refine my heart. Everything shifted in my life. That's where then all my work started.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. And props to you for choosing not to be a victim because it's so easy. I mean, it'd be very easy to sit here if you had chosen to be a victim and just say, I totally get why. You're justified in that. But props to you for choosing, you know what? I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to
Yeah.
be better than this. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Okay, so transitioning back to the patches. So who are these for? I mean, so when I first was learning about them, I was like, oh, okay, so like women's health and all this, but it sounds like from what you're saying, it's pretty much for anybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Men, women, kids, of course. So, we have different patches depending on kind of what your body is needing. And each patch is upwards of 10 vitamins. So, not only do we care about absorption, we really want people to consolidate their vitamins because, gone are the days where you're just like taking in million pills and throwing it down your throat like it's a flex. That used to be me, by the way. I used to be like, thanks. So we have the immunity patch. My kids are wearing them right now because again, like all the bugs and stuff are
Mhm.
going around the schools. That one has vitamin C and D, zinc, elderberry, and so powerful. And then we have a cortisol fixed one, which happens to be our bestseller. I'm like, we're just a bunch of stressed out monkeys in this
Oh
world.
yeah.
I'm doing too much. That one's so great for nervous system. It's got GABA, L-theanine, ashwagandha, passion flower, magnesium. It's so amazing. We have Oura ring data on this one too, and it's like powerful for HRV, resting heart rate. We have a metabolism patch for men and women. It's the same patch. It has berberine, incredible for blood sugar. It's got some amino acid fat burners, and then glutamine, which is good for your gut because the gut receptors are where like your cravings and satiety really land. And so, she making sure you have a nice, solid microbial balance is important for that. We also have the energy patch, which is a gold patch people are obsessed with. So it's got a lot of adaptogens for focus and for energy. We have we just launched actually a peptide patch, which is incredibly revolutionary. It is the DHACU peptide. So for hair, skin, nails, also supports a lot of stem cell production. And so that one just launched. And we have a testosterone boosting patch. This one is formulated with Eastern and Western herb to naturally boost testosterone in both men and women. We have a perimenopause menopause patch that helps with night sweats, estrogen balancing, as well as cortisol. So yeah, we have a lot of really great different protocols, just kind of depending on what your body's doing.
That's crazy. That's awesome. How long does it take for them to work? Like, so if you put on a patch, do you feel effects immediately? How long does it take? And how long do you wear them for before you have to get a new one?
Yeah, so they're 8 to 12 hour transdermal. It's a slow, steady drip into your body, which is great because when you swallow a pill again, it's like a mass flood, your liver breaking it down. And I would say so for the energy patch. you can feel the difference within 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Cortisol patch, the same thing. Something like the peptide patch, the glow patch is going to be more of like a 4 to 6 week experience. Because again, that has been shown to increase follicle size in your hair. And then also the follicle cycle. So faster hair growth, bigger hair growth. So that's going to take, obviously 4 to 6 weeks to really see a shift
Mhm.
in that. But really, it depends on the patch.
That's really cool. And then you mentioned you had Aura Ring data on one. So what's the process of going through creating a new patch and
Yeah.
then saying, yes, this actually works? Like, how do you collect the data for that to then say, yeah, let's launch this?
Okay, so what I do is I get an idea and I'm like, oh, cool. Like we're all so stressed. We need a patch for stress, right?
Mhm.
And then I go to my formulator and I'm like, what ingredients? Here's kind of the ones I love personally. What ingredients can be absorbed transdermally? Which ones work really well synergistically together? And what we put together in a patch that can be absorbed. So they take kind of my ideas and my wish list, if you will, and then they take care of science and expertise to actually formulate the patch. And then when it comes to testing, we've just asked for volunteers within like our community, our followers and our clients and customers, and just ask people to, report for like 3 weeks wearing the patch and then not wearing the patch and then submitting their ordering data. That's where we've gotten some good data there.
Wow, that's really cool. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay, so wellness is something that is kind of I don't want to say it's a fad. I think it's something that's kind of here to stick around. I think this generation and a lot of people really are kind of honing in on their bodies and being more in tune with their bodies. So, and you've been in wellness for a really long time. How Where do you see the patch method in 5 to 10 years? What is like, I know it's not where you thought it would be right
Yeah.
now. So where do you see it now as it's expanding?
I mean, I want it to be a household brand. Like I want it to be of a movement. I want it to be a feeling. I want people to feel like when they are wearing the patch method, like it's that remembrance that their body is not broken and that it is here to do incredible things. Um, I just feel like the sky's the limit. Like I don't know. I really don't know where it's gonna go. I'm just here for the journey. I'm really enjoying the ride. And I'm just learning as I go, like there's so much. I mean, I didn't go to school for this. Like I never thought I would have a product at all, a product-based business. And a lot of the things I've had to learn have been very unsexy. Like the fun stuff that you might see online is fun, but the things that are happening behind the scenes are very hard, like operations and
Yeah.
systems and finance stuff. Liability stuff. Like, I'm like, "Oh, I've never done this before," working with, retailers, working with different people in the industry, really even understanding, like, the industry.
Yeah.
Um, there's just so much I've never had to do. So just being agile every day, like, "Okay, yeah, didn't know that. We definitely need to probably implement something like this?"
That's awesome. So, a couple more questions for you. You are a mom of two. You have a business. You're active. You would like to do a ton of things. So, how do you balance everything? How do you stay yourself, like, and not become, a product? Like, oh, well, I'm the patch method, so I'm always doing this and I'm always doing that. How do you stay grounded and stay balanced?
Okay, this is such a great question. I think that when in today's world, there's a lot of pressure to do it all. And I used to have guilt when I had help. But then I had a friend give me the greatest gift. And she told me, I don't want my daughters to feel like they have to do it all. That's a lot of pressure, you know,
Mhm.
to do this and do that. You go here and go there and own this and all the things. Like there's so much societal pressure to do it all in today's world. And so I have help, I have help it so that I feel balanced. I have help in my home so that way I can be more present with my children. I have help getting rid of the things that are not in my wheelhouse or that bring me joy and within my business so I can show up in the areas of my business that I love and shine at, right?
Mhm.
I believe in delegation. I believe in hiring people that have different skill sets than you that thrive in those skill sets. You can bring your skill set and their skill set together to make magic happen. And so I would say that's the first thing. But the second thing is I'm really big on my morning routine. Like that is what sets the tone for me the whole day. So waking up before my kids and having a minute myself to find that grounding and just staying focused on like what is the most important thing or things I need to do today and not get distracted with all the distractions. Everything is a distraction. Someone texting you, emails, the social media, all the things. Everyone wants your time. And so just like grounding in like what is the most important thing I need to do today and what thoughts and beliefs do I need to have to be in alignment of, those things that I need to execute on. And with my kids, they're part of this journey. We don't operate in isolation. Like they are fully involved in watching me stretch myself to be brave and to go in front of sprouts and pitch. Like even when I was prepping my pitch with sprouts, I printed it off for them and they helped me practice. And I told them how nervous I was. And after school, when I picked them up and they're like so excited to hear how it went, they're always talking about like, when are we going to go to sprouts and pick it up, mom? And stuff. And then it was amazing because then when my daughter had her first presentation she had to do, the night before, she was so nervous. She was like literally crying, so mercy on her peers. And I was able to, oh my gosh, I know that feeling. Even as like a 35-year-old mom, I get nervous too. Like remember with spouts and you saw me but you know what? I didn't do it. You be brave, even though you might not feel brave. And afterwards, you're so proud of yourself. And then it's going to get easier. And so I think that we can we can model that to our kids and bring them along and not like have it be this like separate thing.
That's great. Okay, last question. So the title of the podcast is Unstuck, right? And you mentioned you've been through the ringer, you've gone through a lot, you've probably felt stuck quite a few times in your life. And I think most of us at one point or another, we've felt stuck at some point in our life, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually. You can name it. We've all been there. What would you tell someone that is in a moment wherever they are, they just feel stuck? What would you tell them to help them begin the process of becoming unstuck?
Oh my gosh, this is so huge. Okay. Energy is everything. And if you want to get out from where you are to where you want to be, you need to surround yourself with everything that supports that version of you. The food, the people, the environment, the thoughts, and the beliefs, right? Like, so you might have to go through a little shedding of like, what thoughts are keeping you stuck here? And how can I shed those thoughts? And what new thoughts can I adopt that are in more alignment of the place that I want to be, the person I want to be, the body that I want to have, the health that I want to have, the marriage that I want to have? What books do I need to be reading? What audio podcasts do I need to be listening to? What friendships do I need to maybe part ways with? And what people do I need to surround myself with? Like look at people in your circle or in the world that have amazing relationships and hang out with them. Read the books they're reading, listen to the music they're listening to, right? All of the input we're getting, food, music, books, all of that is creating these narratives in our brain that are keeping us where we're at. And in order to shift that, you have to recalibrate all the inputs. So I would say that's the biggest thing is do a little audit, a little life audit on what are the things that are adding to this feeling of being stuck or the situation of being stuck that I have control over. There's going to be uncontrollables. You have surgery, you can't walk, right? But like, what are the controllables and what can you shift and adapt and then like bring it and then really shed everything else. And then slowly, like you'll become that. The saying you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with is so true. Surround yourself with people who are not stuck, that are growing, that are thriving, that are, evolving. You will naturally, yourself, your body, your whole life will naturally follow suit.
I love that advice. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, real quick before I let you go, it's not August yet, so we can't go down the Sprouts and get the patch. So, how can, if listeners want to find the patch, how do they find it? How do they find you? What's the best way to get it?
Okay, so you can go to www.thepatchmethod.com. And then we also have an Instagram at the.patchmethod.com. And then you can find me at Lindsey Burwell Wellness. That's on Instagram.
Awesome. All right, guys, go get your patches. Go try them out. I kind of want to try one. I'm like,
I know I have an energy one. I'll leave with you.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna wear that gold one proudly.
Yeah,
All right,
I love it.
awesome. All right, guys, if this episode resonated with you, feel free to share it. That's what we want this podcast to be. We want to help people that are somewhere in their life where they just need a little bit of motivation, they're feeling unstuck or they're feeling stuck and they want to get unstuck, that's what we want this podcast to be. So please share it. And Lindsey, thank you for joining us today. I'm Bretton Hunt, and remember that progress begins with one step, and we'll see you next time.